this spend. I don't get it. I don't get this spend. Somebody break it down for me. It's Havas Media Group. This is Byron, Lazine, and Nicole Wright, and you are tuned into episode 368 of The Real Word.
Word is up. Oh
Nicole,
my gosh.
yeah.
So funny. Real quick. I put in a show request for a property and I just sent the agent like a quick text. Just, hey, like it's been a few days. Just curious, like your activity level. And they're like, yeah, we're calling for highest and best. And then at the end, he goes, word is up. I was like, oh boy.
Will that buy me some room here for negotiation? Well, shout out to that agent. And Nicole, I'm up in the elevation of Colorado Springs. I'm at HousingWire Gathering. Just as you and I are sitting down here remotely for this pod, we'll be together a lot over the summer because I'll be in Connecticut over the summer. We'll be together. But as I'm kind of wrapping up one conversation, sitting down remotely with you, the conversation I was leaving, we were just talking about.
I think I heard it. I felt like I was eavesdropping a little bit.
Bobby had the mic on, so you heard what we were saying. And this is something I said on stage at the gathering here in Colorado Springs. I said, there's not a seller in the world, in the country, in the world, whatever, in the country, I guess you would say, that is going to tell their agent, hey, I want to make sure we're following all of NAR's rules and not all of Zillow's rules. And he said it right there. I'm gonna have a podcast up on BAM with him in a couple of weeks. But the industry just saw the biggest rule-making shift of all time when Zillow came out with their listing standard rule and said, hey, this is how it's going to go, because you'd have to be a little insane to go to your seller. You'd have to be very insane. Let's just be blunt about it. To go to your seller and say, listen, Zillow's got new rules. I don't like them. I'm emotionally kind of triggered by these rules. And I think, we should just not list your property on Zillow. I think that we'll skip that one. Nicole, you just came from a listing appointment. Just today, you were on a listing appointment. It was a competitive one. It was a second, appointment that you had with them. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
What would have happened if you said to the seller, I think we'll skip Z. Let's just throw in Realtor.com too, skip them too. What would have happened?
No, I mean, they are in love with Zillow. I mean, they're like, I think we need to do coming soon because
Are you doing Showcase? Are you doing Zillow Showcase?
I did offer them Showcase.
Good.
Yep. Yeah.
There's a benefit to the seller. Listen.
Oh, they were thrilled. They're like a walkthrough. Like what? Like we're gonna be a showcase on Zillow, dude. They were like, eyes were glowing. It was great. Yeah.
Hey, here's the point. The control is shifting. The conversation here is, it's not business as usual. It's not get back to the basics. It's things are shifting massively. And, Rocket's involved in that conversation. There's just a real conversation going on where things are moving, and they're moving fast. One thing, Nicole, that hasn't moved is the conversation of the day. Okay.
Here it is. This is like Christmas for you.
This is why we couldn't wait till I was back next week. We got to do it now. Go to nowbam.com and you'll see the article. It's linked down below, breaking down NAR's 2023 executive salaries and their marketing spend. We're going to dig into it here, Nicole. So
and
NAR,
their marketing spend.
They're losing power. I said to everybody, I moderated a panel yesterday, and I said to everybody, because the panel was broker extinction by 2030, I said, by 2030, is NAR even in the top 10 of influence? And it's interesting. They kind of, I think one landed kind of in the middle. One was like, absolutely no. And one was like, yeah, they're going to be in the top 10 on influence. They're stripping down. Nykia Wright said it from the stage this week at the gathering. The CEO, she said, we're de-risking, getting rid of every single rule they've ever invented so that they have no liability. Okay. So what they're left with is three-way agreement, but also what they're left with is really high salaries. So Nicole, they're a nonprofit.
You love this.
It's public information. They have to file a 990 tax filing. We have to wait. We get, now we're in 25, we're getting 23. We got to wait a year before we get 24. But there's something interesting about 2023. Nykia Wright, who I just mentioned, she started at the end of 2023. She's about 18 months in to her tenure, started as interim and now is, fully embedded CEO. So we got 2023 numbers, and we got Bob Goldberg, who was CEO up until November 17th,
Yep.
Nicole.
Yeah.
So we're talking 10 and a half months of work, and he broke the big 3 number.
He did. Plus, so there's some non-salary compensation on there. That must be the
Excellent.
champagne bottles
Yeah.
and the air flights.
Steak, champagne,
right?
2 tickets, gotta bring the
Wife.
significant other on the flight.
Yep.
So 3 million plus on the salary, just over 3 million to be fair, and 56,000 non-salary compensation. Katie Johnson, general counsel, made 1.1 million. Shannon McGain, who's government affairs, probably the most important position at NAR, because she's doing the advocacy stuff. You get $1,070,000 there, plus another 56,976. So there's something with that 50. They all got this
They
56,976.
did. They all got it. Same
Everybody
number.
got it.
976. Yeah.
What is that? Does it say
I
in
don't
here?
know.
What
It's
the heck
all
is that?
everybody got it, all the way down to Nykia. Everyone got almost a $57,000 bonus.
56,000. Yeah. We got to find out what that is. If we find out, maybe we'll flash it on the screen, or we'll talk about it next week. But everybody got this $56,976. So that's interesting. Shannon McGain over $1 million. Mark Birschbach, some of these people are gone, by the way. Shannon's still there, but Nykia's come in and created, some change on leadership. Mark Birschbach over $1 million plus the bonus. Lawrence Yoon, chief economist, 817,000. I always say, Lawrence, man, you could just replay the hot sheet, I guess, and get your $800,000. Pretty easy gig for
He
Lawrence
got the bonus
Yoon.
though too.
Yeah, he got the bonus. Yeah, he deserves
He's
the
on
bonus.
the inner
Why not?
circle. The inner
Yeah,
circle.
give him the bonus. John Pierpoint, chief financial officer, almost 800,000. Mark Gould, 706,000. Member development. Okay. Donna Gland, talent development resources, 657,000. Victoria Gillespie, chief marketing officer, 524,000. So here's the one I've been waiting for. What did Nykia Wright get for 6 weeks of work from November 17th through December 31st?
November 20th actually is when it looks like she got hired.
November 20th through December 31st, about 6 weeks. And by the way, are those not the easiest 6 weeks in, corporate landscape? Probably some
Holidays. You get to go to holiday
parties.
parties.
Now, it wasn't an easy time at NAR, to be fair. They were going through quite a bit, but there was probably some brownie exchanges in the office and candy canes and some secret Santas going on. So it's like a mix of all that stuff that's kind of annoying in an office with, all the hard times. But hey, interim CEO.
You don't like to have fun. That sounds like fun.
Everyone makes a brownie or a Rice Krispie treat, and you bring them in, and everybody gets a sugar high. I don't know. Maybe they just do that in preschool, but I see them doing it in offices too. Hey, interim CEO, 6 weeks, $427,000, and got the $56,000.
And got the bonus.
Got them both. Kevin Sears, he was NAR president. Or no, he was first vice president that year. He was not the president, 226,000. Kenny Parcel, member, was president up until August 28th of that year, got 220,000. And then from beginning on August 30th through the end of the year, Tracy Casper, president, was at 281,000. So about $500,000 to president work. Kevin Sears, first vice president, 226. Now he's obviously the president. Before we go to the marketing spend, Nicole, what do you think, just based on, so Bob Goldberg made $3 million in his last year as CEO. The CEO numbers usually go up every year. 6 weeks at $427,000 for Nykia. I mean, what is that? Let me just do the quick math. 427,000. This is just rough math. So 71,000 per week times 52 weeks. That would put her at 3.7 million. If that's,
Did
maybe
she
they
have
have to pay
any?
more as an interim. I don't know.
But she's been part of NAR prior to this, correct?
Incorrect.
No. Okay.
No, remember she was Chicago's Sun
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Tribune.
Okay. All right.
She has
Yeah. So
some.
she
She
did
had
get
some.
$427,000 for 6 weeks.
Yeah, she got 427,000 6 weeks. It's 70,000 a week. If you go
I am
70,000
curious
roughly,
about the bonus, though. It sounds like you just had to make it to the end of the year. Although, no, look,
she's gonna
because
be
some of these
breathing.
people got bonuses and they didn't even stay till the end of the year. They got booted in November.
Right? They still got that 57. I mean, she was only there 6 weeks, got the extra 50. I'm just taking the 57,000 out of it and just looking at the salary, the 427,
Yeah.
70,000. Listen, you always there, I say something like, don't count other people's money. Well, this is public information. It's like when, an NBA superstar, an NFL superstar gets a contract and that's public information. And, you're going to take that into account, like, or the value they put on the field. And because this is a nonprofit, I am going to count their money when we're directly paying the money, just like I would count Congress's salary. Or, it's like, hey, Congress is making X, we pay their salary, I want to hold them accountable. Like, I might not want them insider trading as much as they do on the stock market. Like, these are things that when you're directly paying somebody's salary, it's like, hey, the government works for us. Well, NAR should work for us, the members. There's no money without the members. So yeah, I am going to count the money a little bit here. And it looks like if they keep this interim role, 2024 would be more than Bob Goldberg at comes in his last year at 3 million. This one
3
might be
million.
3.7 for, which usually they just start lower and then 1 million and then climb up from there. So that'd be interesting to see next year if that's where
She
she's
was a
at,
good
3.7.
negotiator.
Now she has some experience. Today when she was talking, she talked about some former franchise in real estate experience, a little bit real estate there in the past, but a media experience. And that's where I said, hey, when she came in, this is an outsider. It was technically really an outsider in, but somebody who had media experience, Chicago experience, kind of DC experience. And that's, obviously the two headquarters and locations for NAR. So I liked all of that. And, she said on stage, we've had to clean up a lot over 18 months. And I'll say that, but it is time to get going now. And I think they're making a huge, huge mistake. I'll tell you what that is in a second. That brings us into the spend for independent contractors. We want to highlight a couple key vendors here, independent contractors for 2023. So NAR's marketing spend, it's come under scrutiny. I asked Kevin Sears about it. He said that's Nykia's, that's her purview. That is her. She runs the business. And she said that on the stage here today. But Nykia's been asked about it and she kind of deflects like, this spend. I don't get it. I don't get this spend. Somebody break it down for me. It's Havas Media Group, marketing and communications. Havas, nothing against you. I want a breakdown. I want receipts. What did you do for $53,838,706 in 2023? Because if it's the commercials I saw, if it's the consumer brand awareness of Realtor, well, then we can do away with it. We can scrap the whole thing. We can save 53 million off the bottom line. We don't need it. Consumers don't care about the Realtor brand. They don't recognize it. They don't talk about it. It's not a reason they hire. Code of ethics it's a made up thing with realtors. It's not relevant to consumers. More relevant for consumers is, what does Zillow say? What's realtor.com doing to highlight my house? The other big one is projection, presentation, technology, video production and services, 5.9 million plus. Bobby, don't get any ideas. Okay. You're and Haley, we're gonna split it. You and Haley are already stained. You guys are BAMs. You guys are stained with BAM. NAR is not going to hire you.
Stained?
Yeah,
Yikes.
you got the BAM stain
like
on
branded?
you.
Like a little tramp stamp?
I mean, and listen, Nykia Wright, I wanted to do a pod with her here. We're both in the same place. We sent a message to her. She didn't want to do it. I haven't bumped into her in the lobby. I was, Nicole, when I was on stage yesterday, when I
Yeah.
mentioned her. Apparently that is the moment she walked in to yesterday's session. So I
Oh,
had unique timing there. It was just kind of by chance. But listen, I'm not
were
gonna.
you being rude?
No, I was not being rude. I'm not being rude. I'm definitely critical of a lot of things NAR is doing. And so this is one of them, this media spend. They're not effective at education and training. And
Yeah.
one of the things that caught me off guard today, she said, "Hey, we're going to lean into education and training. We're going to lean into bringing you to the next transaction." I said this last week, like, I don't need NAR to, um, you know,
Well, that
teach
was to help you
brokers to be
build your
profitable.
yeah, right.
I don't need that. I need NAR to be an advocate. Okay. And so, that's what I need them for. Anyways, other independent contractors, Cooley LLP, legal counsel, 12 million makes sense. Legal, big expense. Apco Worldwide, 5.7. Event management services, 3 million. So NAR is projecting, as we said last week, to drop to 1.2 million in 26 members, down from 1.4. Had a conversation here, Nicole, with James Dwiggin. He thinks the number is going to be bigger. And so they're not accounting
Like the
for it.
drop, you mean?
Yeah, the drop.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
starting to see more people say, "Hey, it's gonna start dropping quicker." You and I were on the same page where we're like, "It's just not gonna drop that quickly," and it didn't this year, in the last 12 months to our credit, and I think a lot of people's credit was like, it's gonna take time to kinda chip through some of the beluga, but,
Well, and to decouple it all. I mean,
yeah.
we're all still hostages here.
Agents, we all want and need more listings. We want to be able to capture the business from our clients. So it means we need to stay in front of them, front and center when they're thinking about real estate, when they're making a real estate decision. So I love what Reminder Media is doing for agents across the country, producing high quality physical and digital magazines where you can tell a full story about what's going on in your community, what's happening in the market, and reminding people that you are the expert that they should be reaching out to when it comes to making a real estate decision. Reminder Media is a resource that you need in your corner to stay in front of your clients. You also get a free sample magazine by using the link that I'll put right down below. Check out Reminder Media and everything that they have to offer you and helping you stay in front of your clients.
So she mentioned the three-way agreement being very important today from the stage. I mean, it's very important for NAR. It's very important for NAR staff. But there you go. There's your spend for NAR in 2023. Want your thoughts down below. What would you change on the spend? Are you concerned with the salaries, or is it more the spending on trying to be an educator, a trainer, putting out marketing messages into communities, and it doesn't land with the consumers? Like, if you had to pick one, are you more worried about the salaries, or are you more worried about the spending in the other areas? I want NAR to be narrow focused. Something Nykia said today is they're not going to be narrow focused. They believe that they need to be the base camp for the industry on all of these other issues. I hope that, for 3 million bucks plus a year, I hope somebody says to Nykia, like, it's really important to speak to members directly through the platforms that matter to these like, I'm not being selfish on my podcast. Like, I want to talk to Nykia, right? I think I'm going to ask questions that probably nobody else in the industry would ask. Um, but I think she should be doing this once a week, once every other week. She should be getting in there in the weeds. I mean, at this level of pay, not just doing it through her leadership team to brokerages backdoor, like, speak direct. Something I said from the audience, if you have a line to NAR, ask them to do this. My invitation to Nykia, even though we're in the same place and we're not going to get to talk here, is wide open. I'll be fair with her. Go watch the Kevin Sears interview that I did, Nicole. I was very fair with Kevin,
Yeah.
and I'd be fair with her too. And I still have hope that she is going to be able to do something here. There's a lot of work left to be done, and to her credit, she acknowledged that from the stage today. So, Nicole,
Good.
final thoughts from you.
No final thoughts. Are you enjoying your time?
Yeah, it's very good. I mean,
Good.
a lot of interesting conversations. There's some fear-based conversations, and there's some real, opportunity-driven players in the room, and things are changing fast, not slowly. Things are not going back to basics. There's new basics being created.
Mm-hmm.
Over
You
the
seem pretty
next,
amped up, so I feel like it must
I'm
be
pretty.
pretty electric over there.
It is pretty. Well, it's electric in some ways. Yes, I will say. Over the next coming weeks here on the BAM channel, make sure you subscribe. Best way to support podcasts like The Real Word and the other content we do is just hit the subscribe button. But I'll say on the lookout for some of these interviews from this event that I did. Obviously, not one of them is going to be Nykia. Hopefully, we get that in the future.
Did she at least respond and say no, thank you?
Somebody responded to Vanessa, for
Okay.
Vanessa on BAM, and thanks but no thanks. Byron's a loser. No, they didn't say that. They said too busy. I think you can never say you're too busy for your members, right? It'd be like
Yeah.
Nicole. We had a conversation about some of our agents today, and it's like if I said, hey, I'm just too busy to ever talk to my agents, well, what would happen, right?
Yeah.
You got to make time to figure out what you can do. I'm not looking to sit down with Nykia and her agree with everything that comes out of my mouth. I think that'd be insane for a leader to sit down and be like, you know what? We're just going to agree with everything. Now, I think I'm right on some things, maybe a lot of things.
I'm sure.
But maybe I'm not, but I think there's some good conversation that can be had. There's certainly some good points.
Yeah.
And there's a feel that I might have for agents across the industry that those close to her are too far from feeling. Okay, so maybe we should have the conversation. I hope that we do. Nicole, I'll be with you next week. We'll be in person for the pods over the summer.
I can't wait.
I'm sure you can't.
No, it's always better when you're here.
It is. It's way more dynamic.
Way better.
All right, guys, keep it real. I'll see you next week, Nicole.
See you guys.